Hi everybody, I've got another journal here that I rated in my stash and I'm going to have to let go of it. I really like it though. It came out kind of cute. It's real grungy. It's got a really piece of pretty lace on the front cover and I like the I love that contrast of the colors. There's a stamped lady on one of my patches, and over here is a paper clip, and it's got a little clock and an envelope and a little birdie. Used a little bit different lace for the closure. And there's the spine. And here's the back. And it measures 5 3/4 by 3 1/2. It has a 1 1/2 inch spine. Y'all know this is my favorite size because I can hold it. I just like them when they fit in your hands. So I saved a lot of these. Thinking I'm going to use them, and, you know, I can't get to them. So I'm letting them go, my babies. On the inside here, got a little patch sewn in silver and some fabrics that's been stamped. A little safety pin. Lace pocket with the snippets. Got some snippets going on there with the French page in the background. One of my favorite things of late to use. Here's a pocket with some stitching going down the side. It comes through on the other side. This I got, this is some ephemera. It was a book of I don't really know what you'd call it. Architect buildings on what the specs are to build a building, or what you have to, the guidelines you have to follow. But I got it in an estate sale, and I decided to use some of those papers in this book. Pretty lady. And over here, it's a pocket, a hidden pocket with some with a Rolodex card and a doily. And one of these envelope pockets here. That's a real stamp, some lace, did some stamping on it. And on the inside, it's got a real pretty flower and some of that pink sari silk. In you go. Get in there, dude, or dudette. Okay. You know, I'm stretching here. My little short arms can't quite make it. There we go. I shouldn't be wasting time doing that, but there you go. Over here is a piece of fabric attached here. A nice vintage lady with part of a book page on the edge here, and some lace and some stitching down the side. Another little card that was sewn on here. I just let it come on over. Some vintage papers and places to journal. Here's a ticket with the no refunds, no exchanges, and that's part of a what did I cut up? Something I cut up. A little bit of lace and some seam binding. Over here's a vintage lady and part of a book page and some fabric. That's from the other side. And I put a thingy. I'm just going blank today. A little thingy here that I ran a ball and chain through and put a patch on it with another little thingy. Imagine that little hummingbird, isn't he cute? So he kind of dangles off the side. There's the image that I sewed around there. A fan pocket. And that muslin fabric coming on around. I just took it and folded it and put it over, stitched it down, glued it on that side. Another little envelope note. This has got the crackle and the script stamping throughout. That's part of a crochet doily and some seam binding and pretty ladies. And this holds the paper down because it lifts up. Aren't they pretty? Look at those dresses. Over here is a book page on the spine part there, and a little graphic image, and it says sale price. More fabric here. Another tuck spot. You could put a little journaling there, and 2 cards. I keep wanting to edge the book closer to me so it's easier to put stuff in, but my camera's so far back. Some lace flowers with part of a dictionary page and a pretty lady. Little patch that I've sewn on there. It's a piece of ephemera. And I sewed it on and just let it come on through. And see, it decorates the other side of the page. It just adds a little something to it. That's the first signature. This is the start of the second signature. Over here is a pocket with a doily and a cotton doily and a little vintage flower. It's actually not vintage. Got it at Hobby Lobby and I inked it. Got some lace going on with some stitching and the ladies. And then some cards for journaling. Another patch that I made. Over here is a little pocket, and it's got some fabric here. It's one of those glassine bags, a little place you could write a little something. And part of a doily at the top of it. It's been coffee stained. Little image there with a little card inside. More fabric, more stitched fabric. It's part of a check here. Over here is a piece of seam binding, a little stamped image. One of my little burlap pockets with some pattern paper. A couple of images, an image in coffee dyed paper. Get in there. Okay, and there's a book page going down the side there. Over here is some of that from that book that I was telling you about earlier. I don't know what that thing's called. It was somebody's private book, though, because he had writing all through it. But it tells, you know, dwellings and measurements and things like that. It's kind of an interesting little book. And this is a piece of fabric here with one of those corrugated hearts for a pocket. And I think this is my last one from my stash that I put in the pocket here. So stick out a little bit. And these are real stamps. Made in the USA with some fabrics. Part of a crochet doily there. Part of the dictionary page going down the side. Other part of that check. More fabric here. Stitching. The stitching is kind of a camel color, which I thought complemented the pages nicely. Some seam binding and some lace. This is blue satin. Little image there. Stamped image. This is another one of those pages from that book, and I just put a piece of paper over it for journaling. That's a real stamp, and that's the end of the second signature. This is the third, and this is I made a pocket out of a flower and put one of my patches on top, and then I just added a couple little business cards. These are the Tim Holtz business cards. I don't even know if they're available anymore. I've had them for so long. Pretty image in the background there. Stitching running down the side here. And of course it comes over on the other side. Little teacup. That's just a little pretty. Little sparkly pretty. Some more of the blue. And this is a empty tuck. Well, looky here. Look what Mama has got. There you go. This is a tuck spot with a booklet. Over here, I let the stitching come on over from that side. This is another pocket here. with some more of that book. You know, I read this when I make it, and I read it when I'm trying to tell y'all about it. I did a little bit of layering. I put some gray paper in the background there. Coffee dyed paper. And this burlap has got some gold threads running through it, so it's kind of pretty. Over here is a piece of fabric rose with a safety pin and some seam binding there. Over here is a collage card that I made. It's got a little sparkly thingy there. Some lace. And I think that's some of that Tim Holtz fabric. A little safety pin with some seam binding. And this card comes off so you have journaling behind. And this is a journaling card. Him back on. And this is just for pretty. You could tuck something up under here if you wanted. Oh, wait a minute. I did. Oh, no. When I took the safety pin off, it came off. I didn't see it. What out there? Over here is a little image with some fabric. Now, I'm just about 3/4 goofy today, aren't I? A little stitching there. Some of that burlap and pink sari silk. I'll just let the stitching come on over. It's another little patch here. Been sewn on. More stitching with a pretty lady. Some stitching around that card. Piece of ephemera there. Over here is a burlap pocket with the ladies, and I just let it come on over. And it's got some fabric and part of a crochet doily and a rose. And there's the back side of that page. Again, I used one of those vintage papers and put a piece of paper over there for journaling. And then in here is a lace pocket with the word grateful. And I just grunged it up. It's just the cover on the inside and the outside is just grungy. Got some lace fabrics and part of a doily there. And I put in a large piece of paper for journaling. How pretty. So pretty. And it just tucks in there. And there's the back. See all the grunge? Nice contrast with that. Just a real pretty contrast. I just love it. I want to thank y'all so much for being here with me today. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye, y'all.